Hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. Welcome back to another beautiful video. In our last video, we spoke about void marriages, and in today's video, we will be talking about voidable marriages, an entirely different thing altogether. I'm sure some of you will be like, Neze, Ibiakwa. Neze, Osulegi Neze, you have started again. Which one is void marriages? Which one can be voidable marriages? What is the difference? Calm down. Calm your nerves. Calm your nerves and drink water. Have I ever left you confused before? Obeni Farabale. I'm going to explain every one of them to you. When we spoke about void marriages, I explained to you that a void marriage is a marriage that never existed in the eyes of the law. I even went ahead to describe that kind of marriage as just as good as painting your nose red and being a clown in a circus, because the law does not even understand that you people are husband and wife. You people are just boyfriend and girlfriend living together and bearing children. Bringing a void marriage to the courts does not mean that you are going for a divorce or you are dissolving the marriage, because the marriage did not even exist. Shotibo. What you can seek for in the case of a void marriage is just an annulment to put it on record that this thing that we were playing, it never existed. Now, in today's video, we have voidable marriages. A voidable marriage is a marriage that started off on a fundamentally flawed structure. There is something fundamentally wrong with that marriage, but it is valid and legal and subsisting until a party to the marriage, the person that was wronged in the foundation of the marriage, now comes out and say, you see this thing that this person did, I can't take it. Cancel the marriage. I don't want it again. But as long as that wronged person is okay with that fundamental flaw, as long as he or she condones it, as long as he or she is okay with it, the law will not choke eye and choke mouth and say this marriage does not exist. The law would leave you guys to continue in your marriage. Unlike the void marriage, where the law does not even know to choke mouth. Nobody needs to report anybody. What people are doing is nothing at all. In this one, the marriage is existing, but there is a problem from the onset of the marriage, and one person was wronged. So as long as that wronged person is fine, the law will carry his eyes and throw and come out. But if that wrong person cries out and says, I can't, then the law would step in and cancel that marriage. These kinds of marriages are called voidable marriages. This one is also very different from grounds for divorce. In the case of divorce, there was nothing structurally wrong with the marriage. It was a duly constituted and duly celebrated union. But in the course of the union, one person or the other person started doing something wrong. Then you can go for a divorce. Are you understanding the three distinctions, the three variations on how a marriage can come to an end? The first one is the void marriage, which never existed. The second one is the voidable marriage that has a defective structural foundation, but is okay and legal as long as the two parties involved are okay. And the third one, divorce, also called dissolution of marriage, is the one that there is no problem at all. From the beginning, the marriage was standing gidigam. It was well constituted. Both of you were husband and wife until somebody now did something in the course of the marriage that will make the other one now go to court and say, I no do again. So, let us discuss voidable marriages. The first ground upon which a marriage will be voidable is due to incapacity to consummate the marriage. The law takes cognizance the importance of kwakwerikwa and pakulupa in marriage, and the issues surrounding this always comes up in marriage. The first ground from a voidable marriage is the incapacity to consummate the marriage due to sterility. DJ, play me, that's my favorite music. Let us vibe to that music. The law deems consummation of marriage as very, very vital. In fact, consummation comes up under voidable marriages and under grounds for dissolution of marriage. Consummation is not the everyday sex. I hear some people say she has refused to consummate the marriage. Anytime your wife does not give you wild action at night, you will say she has refused to consummate the marriage. Uncle, that is not consummation. Consummation means the very first sexual intercourse that a husband and a wife has after their marriage has been solemnized. The very first one. It is like putting a final stamp that union is officially official. So under the grounds of divorce, which I have covered in another video, refusal, persistence and willful refusal to consummate the marriage is a ground for divorce. But under the voidable marriages, please note the language. You know, in law, every language has its own different meanings and implications. Under a divorce, the ground there is willful and persistent refusal to consummate the marriage. But under voidable marriage, the ground is inability, incapacity to consummate the marriage. Meaning that you might want to, you might be willing, but you are incapable. Sexual incapacity to consummate the marriage. But don't get me wrong, don't quote the one that I didn't say. I do not mean that if during the course of the marriage you have been enjoying frequent badminton and beddington, then later on your husband's machine gun goes on early retirement. You now come to the court crying, "Oh God, Giorgio, you know I have high libido. This man cannot do again, no. The machine gun is not firing, no. The bazooka is not bazookaing, no. The IUD and IED is not exploding, no. George, help me, dissolve my marriage." No, the judge will tell you, my friend, Bafueba. After you have enjoyed your husband, you now came later on because the bazooka is not bazookaing. You now say you want to divorce. What did you think you were doing when you held on to a Bible and swore with your hands up for better for worse? My friend, get back home and go and manage the bazooka like that. That is different. I am talking a marriage being voidable under this ground means that before the marriage was consummated, this person knew that he was sterile, he was incapable of consummating the marriage, and he concealed that fact. Got into the marriage with you, and when it was time for honeymoon, the moon was not honeying. He couldn't do anything. It couldn't get up. No action. That marriage becomes voidable at the instance of the person who was deceived into entering the marriage with a sterile partner. But remember, if that spouse is okay with the sterility, if that spouse says, it is for better for worse, what can we do? We would adopt children. It's okay. The law cannot fault anything with that marriage. It only becomes dissolved when the person that was deceived say, now me you want to do this kind of thing. You want to give me spiritual conji? Hey! Chai. Jibi. Mbano. DJ, you have to give me that one. Play me spiritual conji. Hey!
This not spiritual conji. This not physical conji. You don't ask me spiritual conji. Conji. My body do the sorting. Conji. That's enough for my body. Pass me spiritual conji.
So if the woman cannot cope with spiritual conji, she can come before a court and dissolve that voidable marriage. But note that before the judge of any court would dissolve a marriage based on this ground, first it must be shown that that incapacity is incurable. 2, or that this person that has the problem has refused to submit himself for physical examination. 3, if curable and has gone through the examination and the issue has been identified, it should also be shown that this person has refused to subject himself for treatment. I'm using he here because it is usually the men that this point affect. I'm not talking about infertility, I'm talking about instability. So if a man can consummate the marriage but he's shooting blanks, it's a different case entirely. I'm talking about someone that is incapable of consummating at all. So sometimes I have seen marriages where the man would have this sexual issue, and I don't know whether it's pride, I don't know whether he's ashamed, I don't know what the problem is, but sometimes some of these men would refuse to go to the hospital for treatment. The whole world will be pointing at their wives, barren women, barren women. That is why every time in church we have programs for barren women. Barren women arise. 7 days prophetic ministry for barren women. But we have not seen church program for sterile men. So sometimes we have some of these men that have these issues, but because of shame or pride, they refuse to submit themselves for treatment. That is the ground. And please note that if this problem is curable and your husband is cooperating and he's receiving treatment, you cannot go to court to bank on this ground. All these points are very stringent, very important. So when the erectile is not erecting and the erecmus is malfunctioning and dysfunctioning, and the man hid it from his partner and got into a marriage, that marriage is voidable. 2. Wait first though. Before we go into 2, let me even ask you guys, those of you watching me, those of you seeing me for the first time, or those that have been watching, stealing all this my knowledge, all this my law, without subscribe, coming here to steal all this knowledge and all this law for free. Sure, hit the subscribe button now. If not, I'm not going to talk again. Hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already, and begin to drop all your comments in the comment section. Don't also forget that our masterclass on storytelling is still on. If you're a YouTuber, or if you're aspiring to be one, aspiring to be a public speaker, or even those that just want to support my channel, you can still buy the course or buy for someone else. I'm going to leave the link pinned in the comment section and down in the description box, or you can simply send interested to nezemasterclass@gmail.com. So let's move on to the next point. 2. A marriage can be voidable upon the ground of a wife's pregnancy for somebody else other than her husband. When they do something though. Some of them get mine though. Sometimes I sit back to wonder. I say, is it that you did a way match, sharpshooter, when you were cutting your bobo and you didn't know who has the baby, or you knew that that baby didn't belong to this man, and you came in, you allowed this man to be showing love to another person's child, training the child, having the impression that that is his flesh and blood, and you keep quiet, keep the secret for 20, 30, 40 years to grave. You get married. That a man will be going out every day under the sun and under the rain, suffering to raise a child that he thinks is his own, but you know that that child belongs to another person, and you let the man, and every day we women are in church praying. There are some things that beat my imagination. That is inhumanity, and the law takes account of it. A marriage is voidable at the instance of the husband. When I say instance, I mean at the right of the husband, where at the time of that marriage the wife is pregnant for another man. Well, except maybe Angel Gabriel appeared to him and told him to calm down, that don't worry, his wife was conceived by the Holy Spirit. Then maybe that will be acceptable. But as long as the man does not accept that, he can go to court to dissolve that union. But there are grounds which this point can stand. First, when he was ignorant of this fact at the time of the marriage. So if the girl had cried to him and said, my darling, see what happened. I was drunk. I didn't know what I was doing. Bolaji, my colleague at the office, he deceived me. Before I knew it, pants don't shift. Forgive me, I love you. And the man said, don't worry, I forgive you. It's for better, for worse. And then he proceeds with the marriage. That is a pardon. That is what the law calls condonation. He has condoned the act, and he cannot come back later on in the years to bench on that fact to ask for a divorce or a dissolution. No, that act has been condoned. 2, he must file for that dissolution not more than 12 months after. And thirdly, no sexual intercourse must have occurred after discovering these state of facts. So if after you found out that that woman was pregnant for another man, and you people did makeup quackery, and later on, after doing the makeup quackery, you now come to court and say, she deceived. Uncle, go back to your wife. My friend, get out of here. By that bakulukba, you have condoned it, and you cannot come under this ground. Let us move on to number 3. Point number 3. Unsoundness of mind, mental disorder, and recurrent attacks of insanity or epilepsy. Those are grounds upon which a marriage can be voidable. Section 5, subsection 2 of the Matrimonial Causes Act defines mentally defective as one owing to an arrested or incomplete development of mind due to inherent cause induced by disease or injury, thus making that party unfit for the responsibilities of marriage. So you guys can give examples of the various mental disorders that you know of. Schizophrenia, bipolar disease, neurodevelopmental disorders, anxiety disorders leading to very disruptive behaviors. The law understands that it might not be your fault. Things happen, right? But what the law is against is you keeping that illness away from a person and then marrying that person, knowing that you are mentally unfit for the responsibilities that come with marriage. That is a ground for avoidable marriage. And the 3 aforementioned points also apply here. You must not have been aware of it at the beginning of the marriage. So if you knew that this person you were getting married to, the brain is touching, gets scoy for head, and you still went ahead and married the person, you cannot come and say the person has mental disorder. The court will ask you, sure you know, Abi, you know, my friend, get out of here. Get out of here. And the last, but not the least, the last ground upon which a marriage is voidable is the infection of a venereal disease. A marriage is voidable when either party to the marriage is suffering from a venereal disease in a communicable form. Let us paint this scenario. Imagine you just got married and on your wedding night, you've been waiting for this special night to consummate your marriage. For those that wait, I hear that some of you don't wait. Repent, So for those that wait for their beautiful wedding night, just imagine you've all dressed up, candles and petals and perfume, everything, and you just say, let you go to the drawer to bring out matches to light your scented candle that you have put on the table. As you open the drawer, you see results from Amauche laboratories. You open them. HIV, they take them. Staphylococcus, they take them. Syphilis, they take them. You check the name to know whether your eye they pain you. You see your husband name for there, or you see your wife name for there. These are venerable diseases in communicable forms. And if you did not know about these state of facts, that is also a ground upon which that marriage can be dissolved. But remember, as I have always sounded the note from the beginning of this video, the marriage is valid. So you can say, I don't mind whether na 1 naira, whether na 1 million, baby you got me, whether na gonorrhea, whether na syphilis, whether na staphylococcus, baby you got me, baby you got me, staphylococcus aureus. You can choose to condone, but if you do not want to condone, you can choose to dissolve. So guys, yes, we have come to the end of today's very enlightening, educative and engaging video. Begin to drop all your thoughts down in the comment section. If you're new here, you're seeing my face for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, why are you cheating yourself? Why are you cheating yourself? Why are you losing out? Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop all your comments down in the comment section, and stay glued because there is always so much more coming your way. Don't forget to join our explosive masterclass by clicking the link down below or sending interested to nezemasterclass@gmail.com. It's me, your girl, Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.